Yo, what's up, YouTube? You already know who it is. It's YT. Attention, attention, attention. This is breaking news. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we're speaking on the port strikes. This is beginning October 1st. This is about to be a big deal, I'm hearing. Very important industries are supposed to be impacted by these strikes that are beginning in just a little over a week. I'm going to put this in simple terms for everybody. I'm going to break it down real nice and simple. These people who work at the shipping ports, the dock workers, they're going on strike because pretty much the ports want to upgrade. They want to make AI innovations, right? They want to upgrade to automation. And the port workers not happy about that. They're not having it. So 45,000 port workers are about to strike. They're all going on strike. And that basically means there will be a halt in the movement of cargo. We're talking about our groceries. This is the biggest concern right now, our groceries. This is breaking news. This is something brand new that I just heard about, so I don't know all of the details. We're going to learn about this together. I'm bringing this to y'all right away. Right as I learned about it, I got on this video. But just remember, back a few years ago during the pandemic, there was a halt in baby formula. Now, we don't got to break down how baby formula is not good for your baby. You shouldn't be giving it to your baby. That's another topic, right? But people couldn't get that. And that was such a big deal. That was a viral topic discussed all across social media. The same thing when people couldn't get tissue, paper towel, hand sanitizer. People started to hoard all of these items when they knew that something big was coming. And it's looking like what happened in the past is happening again in the future, because the past creates the future. And we're talking about the future is just 1 week away. These strikes are beginning. So there are certain items that I could see not being on the shelves no more. Some of the items you might go to when you go grocery shopping or go to the store, you might not be able to get very soon. Thousands of jobs will be impacted by this. This is big, y'all. This is big.
The nation's consumer supply chain faces severe disruptions if dock workers at ports along the East and Gulf Coasts go on strike, and the deadline is quickly approaching. Investigator Tim McNicholas is in Jersey City with the details and the possible fallout.
Work at some of the busiest ports in North America could soon come to a halt.
When my men hit the streets, from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down.
The union, which represents more than 40,000 longshoremen at 36 ports, including major hubs like Charleston, Houston, and Miami, is demanding wage increases as well as protection from job-killing automation.
I've been fighting automation for years. They destroyed L.A.
Workers are threatening to strike if a new labor agreement with shipping companies represented by the United States Maritime Alliance is not reached by October 1st.
All activity in the Port of New York and New Jersey with regards to containerized cargo and automobile cargo will cease.
Each year, more than $200 billion worth of goods, including car parts, construction materials, and produce pass through the Port of New York and New Jersey alone. That trade supports more than 500,000 local jobs.
And a 2-week strike could, cause these disruptions to feed into early 2025.
Ryan Sweet with Oxford Economics says if a deal isn't reached in time, a stoppage could disrupt more than half of U.S. shipping traffic.
This is going to be very disruptive to the U.S. economy.
In a statement to CBS News, the U.S. Maritime Alliance says it has not been able to schedule new bargaining sessions with the union, adding the only way to resolve this is to resume negotiations. Tim McNicholas, CBS News.
Wow. So you heard it. 60% of U.S. shipping traffic could be affected by this if no deal is reached by October 1st. So one of two things is going to happen. Either a deal will be reached and people won't have to strike, or the strike will begin and the economy will begin to feel it immediately.
There's about a week left to get supplies and prepare for this massive port strike that is going to be affecting the U.S. This contract affects 7 of the 10 busiest ports in the United States. This will cause massive supply chain issues and shortages, probably raising prices even more than what we saw during the C-19 in 2020, because inflation is already so high. We didn't have inflation on top of a crisis. So right now we have inflation and this huge crisis on top of it. So, definitely people need to prepare. It's going to be starting September 30th. 45,000 people are expected to go on strike, and it looks like it is inevitable. And keep in mind, this is all happening during the last quarter of the year, the busiest season in retail. where the ports are probably the busiest. So let's see how it's going to affect the end of the year, as if there wasn't enough going on already in the country with these elections.
All right, so we know the election is coming up. And every time there is an election, there's a new task that has to be tackled by the new president, by the new administration. So it seems like this might be the new problem. I could see hyperinflation beginning right after this. And when I say right after, I'm talking about Q3 or Q4 of 2025. We're just dealing with inflation right now, and it's real bad. But after inflation comes hyperinflation. So the government might have to turn the printers back on. We might see some more stimulus or some form of payments going out to the people. It could be UBI or something else. We could see more money flowing into the system. And just like before, remember, people thought that was good when everybody got these checks, when everybody got this stimulus. Everybody was happy. But now it's the complete opposite. Everybody has been decimated financially. They've run out of funds, and everybody is hating it now. Hyperinflation will come right after the checks if they turn these printers back on.
Listen, if in the next 7 days, the union does not sign a contract deal with the port workers, 45,000 port workers are going to go on strike beginning September the 30th. This will shut down 13 ports stretching all the way from Maine to Texas. These ports handle about 50% of Americans' imports. They process $2.7 billion worth of freight every day. $2.7 billion a day. If these port workers go on strike, this will be detrimental to our society. We couldn't last more than 10 days without these 13 ports running. Because right now, the ports are in their heaviest time of the year. Currently, we are getting in all of the holiday freight from overseas, mostly from China. So if the ports shut down for 10 days or longer, the backup is going to be monumental. I hope you're all paying attention and you're doing what you need to do to make sure that you have supplies in case this actually happens. Because the retailers, they're preparing themselves. You better be prepared too.
What do we need to stock up on? Along the East Coast and the Gulf Coast, 6 of the 10 busiest ports will most likely be on strike starting October 1st. The International Longshoremen Association has been negotiating better wages, and they're also fighting automation that could be taking away the union workers' jobs in the future. Well, it looks like this is going to affect retail in a huge way. And no, you do not need to stock up on paper towels. It's really so medicine. I would have canned goods anyway because you should, and water, but your medicines and gas are the biggest concerns at this time. It is going, if this strike goes through, it is going to have huge effects on our holiday season. Most likely causing prices to increase. Is it a reason to start panicking? No, it's not. Should you be aware and prepare? Yes, absolutely. Can this make your holidays look a little different this year? Yeah. The 1947 Taft-Hartley Act gives the president executive power to force these union workers back to work because it could devastate the economy that much. We're talking about $6 billion impact per day that this strike goes on, and it will take the U.S. 6 days to recover per day that they're on strike. Everyone keeps saying, it's not going to happen. The president has already said he's not going to intervene, number one. Number two, they have stopped negotiations. They're no longer on speaking terms, the union and the employers. So as of right now, it looks like this is going to happen. And it sounds like a lot of the union workers are preparing for this already. And I'm not your mom. Stop yelling at me in the comments what you should go buy.
So I hope I'm wrong on this, but if you've been following TikTok and been hearing about like a port strike, along the East Coast or the West Coast, like the shipping ports are going to go on strike and then groceries are going to be unavailable. I come from a union background, but I'm just going to say something, man, and I hope I'm wrong. But if that happens, and like just like in the 70s when food rotted inside these ships and no one can get it out because it's a union-based job setting and they won't let anybody go in there and get the stuff anyway and deliver it because of contractual language and contract updates or negotiations are not being made. This is not a day and age for you to try to pull that kind of card out. I think you're going to have a riot and people going up in there and the law taking over and doing like some kind of martial law and actually pushing the unions out the way by whatever legal force they have, both literally or figuratively. And then unions now are going to be a discussion on the chopping block because of how bad that makes it look from you guys holding goods from the entire world if that ever does happen, or the country, and we go into shit because of it. Not saying that I disagree with the negotiations and union contracts and getting what you deserve, but that's may backfire on you.
It's already looking like the ports are definitely going on strike. And to her point, it's not just from Texas through Florida up to the up to the East Coast. There's ports internationally that are also involved, and we're also hearing that it might even spread all through the West Coast and up their side as well, as contract negotiations are nowhere near what is being asked for. A lot of these people who are longshoremen who work at the ports are stating we're going on strike for sure. We're also, this is affecting 45,000 people. And there's a lot of people in the comments saying, yeah, but we just went through this with COVID when they closed the ports down. We didn't have the inflation during that time that we have now. Imagine shortages and on top of that, inflation. It's gonna be a shit show. And I'm not trying to spread fear at all. I'm just trying to make more people aware so that you prepare for it. If you prepare for it, you have a better chance of not having to go through times where you don't have all the things that you need. It's definitely not the end of the world, but it's going to be an uncomfortable time where we will all eventually get through it and things will get back to normal, but it's something for us to be prepared for, and that's all I'm trying to do is make others aware.
It's not a possible strike, it's a strike. October the 1st, 45,000 ILA workers, which pretty much means the majority of the ports in our country were shut down. Major ports. And as she said, which is the truth, the ports that shut down, that will shut down October the 1st, they bring in over half of our goods. Half of the stuff we use, buy, depend on, come through these people. I told y'all I'm an indicator of how the economy is doing because we handle the majority, half of the nation. Not Mobile, not Texas, half of the nation's goods. You think the economy is in a tank now? They say one day of a strike, of these people striking, just one day, will back us up 7 days for each one day. A month, devastating. And this is looking over a month. Because the things that they are stuck on, automation. The port trying to get rid of manual labor, so they don't have to pay the workers. The union is fighting to keep the workers, right? See, the union and the port are not, they're two separate entities. The port is the business. They don't have their own employees. Their employees are union workers that are contracted in to work the ships. The people that own the port don't have workers. Everybody that works in the port are union, except for us, the drivers. All right. So the union and the port are not friends. They're not together. They're two different businesses on the same land. One needs the other. They need each other. So what the port is trying to do is get to a point where they don't need the union, right, to save money. The union costing them money. Like now they want a 77% raise. They're not gonna get that. You want almost 100% raise. So let's just put that in perspective. Say they already making like $40 an hour. They want to make $80 an hour. But if it comes down to talking about the truck drivers, us siding with the union, no, we siding with the port. Because the port trying to make it better for us when we can get in and out of there. See, the union workers are hurting our pay. They're concerned about their pay. And now they're trying to get us to join in with them because we workers too. But now y'all ain't been down with us. Y'all been killing us, the trucker. We sitting up for hours. That's what the problem is about. That's why the port is trying to upgrade to automation, because the manpower, it keeps them backed up. They can't flow. We have lines backed up across the bridge trying to get in the port because the union is there on their phone. I'm sitting there looking at them waiting to get loaded. They on their phone and shit. But they want a 77% raise. The port say no. Y'all ain't worth it. And I agree with the port.
This is my thing. Everybody want a raise, but they not doing their job. So the reason, according to bro right there, who was a truck driver, basically the reason it's taking so long is because they're taking so long. They sitting around playing for real. They not doing their job to optimal capacity. They not doing their job to the best of their ability. Everybody just on their phone, and all of that wasted time add up. 5 minutes here, 2 minutes extra here. It's adding up. And cargo is being backed up, and it's taking longer to get out and get to these stores. We've been seeing a lot when it comes down to our food supply being impacted. We had bridge collapses, remember? We had the train derailments. Now we got this. The people trying to fight back against automation, but we know, that's the future at this point. Pretty much every industry is going to be automated before we know it. So the union can try to hold on, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a fight back against the plan from the people, but the big dogs, they got a plan. And their plan is to save money and keep their businesses going instead of going under. A lot of businesses going under. So people going to have to use automation due to labor shortages, even though we know that's kind of man-made, right? Is it really a labor shortage, or people want jobs, they not just being hired? But that's their excuse, labor shortages. So when all of these people quit or go on strike and don't want to come back, I can hear them say, oh, well, now there are labor shortages. So gift and the curse, right? You wanted more money, but in actuality, to fill the void, that gives us even more of a reason to roll out automation, because we don't got nobody to fulfill these jobs. And it's cheaper for us to automate these jobs. And it's more efficient. It's a more smooth process. It makes everything work out better than before. That's how it's going to be looked at. So we're going to see what really happened, man. Are these people going to give a 70% wage increase? Or are they just going to go ahead and get those workers out of there and go forward with the plan towards automation? We're going to see, but it seems like this going to be big, man. We're going to see if they cut that check or if this all blow up. Listen, if y'all made it to the end of the video, I appreciate y'all for watching, man. Drop a comment below. Let me know what y'all think about this. If you work in this industry, I for sure want to hear from you. Even if you're a truck driver, if you work in the freight industry, I want to hear from you, because that's really the same industry. Let me know.